Well, hey, hot mamas and the men who love them. My name is Betty Vargas, and this is Crazy Sexy Menopause Live Tuesday Tea. I'm spilling the tea today, and this is my live adrenaline monster. This is my first time doing a live by myself without an interview, and so this is new for me. Hi, Marcus. Thank you so much for joining me today. And we're talking about goal setting. I see a lot of videos on social media, and I often wonder, there are HIIT workouts here and weight workouts there, and people doing cardio and people doing having recipes and things of that nature, and it's just information. And I often wonder, do the people who are consuming this information have a plan in terms of what it is that they want to do, what their goals are in terms of what their desires are for what they want to achieve. Thank you, Angelo. And so it's what I want to do, because I know as a personal trainer and a health coach that before you do anything else, you have to have a goal. What is your goal? Is it to, lose weight, or is it to eat healthy, or whatever it is? You just can't just start doing it without having some kind of roadmap in terms of what you want to achieve. And so that's kind of what I want to talk about. And I don't really see anyone, obviously I don't see everything that's online, but from what I come across, I don't see that type of information being disseminated. So I'm just talking about setting attainable goals. And what I don't know if you've heard of SMART goals, SMART, but that's what we're going to talk about today. And so the S is specific. What is it that you specifically want to do? And in terms of weight loss, you can't say, well, I want to lose weight. That's not specific. That's a general goal. And a lot of people have that general goal. But in terms of making it specific, what is it that you want to achieve? What do you want? How much weight do you want to lose? How do you want to do it? You want to get extremely specific about what it is that you want to do. Yes, it's a SMART goal, Marcus. Is it, do you want to, and an example of a SMART goal would be, yes, I want to lose weight, but I would like to lose 5 pounds within the next 6 weeks. That is a specific goal. To make it even more specific, you would want to pull out your calendar and whatever that six week date is, mark that date, put it on your calendar, write it down, and have it in front of you so that you can see it, and it's on your calendar. If you have a wall calendar, if you have a date calendar, a calendar on your computer, you want to have that somewhere where you can see it, and it's in your face and you can do it. And so that would be an example of a specific goal. I would like to lose 5 pounds within the next 6 weeks. Okay, so that is specific. Measurable. A measurable goal is making sure that that goal is achievable. So if you want to be able to measure that goal, you want to be able to say, okay, is this achievable, or is this too ridiculous? Now, having a goal that is not achievable would be like saying, I would like to lose 30 pounds in the next 6 weeks. Now, mind you, depending upon the size that you are, you probably could do that on a water fast or something like that. However, that would not be sustainable. If you want to have a sustainable goal that lasts over time, that you can continue to have I'm having a brain fog. This is crazy sexy menopause. So I'm having a brain fog right now. But what are you saying? I like to state my goals as definite intentions so that I can't weasel out of them. There you go. Thank you, Angelo. You don't want to be able to say, okay, I want to do this, but you know what? I'll start tomorrow. That, or next week, and not having it written down, or even telling someone about it. You know, sharing your goal with someone else and putting it out there and having that person hold you accountable is a way to not weasel out of that particular goal. But getting back to what I was saying in terms of being measurable, you want to be able to have a goal that you can focus on, that you can say, okay, this is something that I'm going to do, and I'm going to focus on this, and it is something that I can achieve. It's not so far out that I can't, that it's mind-boggling for me to be able to accomplish. And not to say that you want to be safe, but you want to be able to have a goal that you can achieve. And then if you want to move further, so using the example of the 5 pound example. So let's say you lose that 5 pounds before the 6 weeks. Then you can always reassess and set a new goal. And so it's a lot easier and a lot more empowering for you to say, to set a goal and achieve the goal within that specific period of time, versus setting a goal that's way out of your league, and then feeling bad because you did not achieve the goal. And so those are the things that you want to focus on in terms of being measurable. Now, action oriented is the A in SMA. And you want to set a specific time and a place to stick with it. So Marcus is saying it took time to gain the weight, and it will also take time to lose it. Absolutely, because Rome wasn't built in a day. Absolutely. And then you didn't put the weight on all at one time, so it's going to take time. Give yourself some time. And hi, Stuart. How are you? Yay. Thank you for joining me today. Feel free to chime in. And we're talking about smart goals. And right now we're on the A, which is action oriented. So if we're looking at weight loss and exercise, then you want to set a time. Hey, Ellie. Hi, how you doing? Thank you for joining me today. So we are, setting a goal and sticking to it, and focusing on where you're going to do it, how you're going to do it. If you're going to do it with someone else, are you going to, yes, it is a party. I'm loving this. Thank you. Where you're going to do it, how you're going to do it, and with whom. You might think, oh my gosh, I set this goal. I don't know if I'm going to be able to achieve it by myself. And so maybe you want to recruit someone that you trust that's going to be able to hold you accountable and help you to achieve that goal. And you can set your parameters around that in terms of, if you want to have an accountability partner, you can say, listen, I don't know if I'm going to be able to handle this. Can you call me and check in once a week to see if if I'm working on my goal, or if you need constant reassurance, maybe somebody will call you every day and say, listen, how you doing? Checking in. What's going on? Are you there yet? Having someone to just hold you accountable, having someone to just talk to and support you and hold space for you while you are working on achieving your goal means a whole lot. Even having affirmations around your house if you live alone, or if you don't trust yourself, because sometimes I will have somebody to hold me accountable, and I'm like, okay, I got it, I can do it myself. But then I need to have some kind of accountability for myself. So what do? I have affirmations everywhere. You can do it. I have affirmations on my mirror, in my bathroom, on my computer, everywhere, on my walls, so that I can see I can and be reminded of the goal that I have set for myself, and to know, okay, I can do this. So being action oriented is, that's the A. Being realistic. And okay, Angelo says, I also try to hold myself with a little grace when I don't meet my goal. And that is the opposite of having someone, of reaching your goal, or reaching your goal before the time set. And so the flip side of that is if you don't, even if you don't, because life happens, and we're not perfect, and even though we set a goal for ourselves, there are times when you fall off the wagon. And just knowing that if you fall off, it's you don't want to feel guilty about it. You don't want to beat yourself up. You do want to give yourself some grace. And in our Sunday service, our senior minister talked about she talked about fasting. And when she set herself up she said she was going to fast, sometimes she would be so mindless, she would come back to herself and be chewing. And so, you have to give yourself grace, because if it's the first time, no one is perfect, and it's not going to happen overnight. Marcus, it sure is a way to failure if we're too hard on ourselves and focus on what already happened. Absolutely. So, being, giving yourself grace. And then, an accountability partner is a good thing in those times too, because they can hold space for you, and they can say, you know what, it's okay. Tomorrow is another day. But you don't want to build on those tomorrows and tomorrows and tomorrows and tomorrows, because then you'll be back where you started. So it's about picking yourself up and getting back to the plan that you have set for yourself. The R is realistic. Wanting to lose 30 pounds in a month is not realistic. It's not going to get you to where you need to be, and it is setting you up for failure. As Marcus said, you want to focus on what's going to work for you. Focus on if you need more time. Don't say, I'm going to, I want to lose 5 pounds in 6 weeks when, you think that it's going to take you maybe 2 months to lose the weight. So give yourself that grace and make sure that it's realistic and that it is, it's a time and that you set a time that is something that you can work with, and that you're going to give yourself the opportunity to gather everything that you need. So let's say you set this goal for yourself and you don't have everything you need to make it happen. So, there are times when I say, oh, I'm going to fast, but then I don't have all of the tools that I need to do that. Or if I'm going to start on I'm going to eat healthy, and I don't have all of the ingredients that are going to support me in my goal to eat healthy. It's not going to work, because then you think, oh, I'm going to use that as an excuse to not eat, to just put it off and not do what is required, and then I'm cheating myself. I'm not being authentic to myself. And if you don't, we have to be, you can fib with other people, but you can't lie to yourself. It's not about tomorrow, and it's not about yesterday. It's about now. It is. What are we going to do right now? So, having a short, if you want to, getting back to the realistic piece, if your desired goal is to lose 30 pounds, well, you don't make sure that you're giving yourself enough time and setting up short-term goals within that period of time. So if your long-term goal is to lose 30 pounds, then you want to set up time within that period, so that, let's say, you lose 5 pounds in 6 weeks, and then you lose another 6 pounds, and you take it in increments, so that you are constantly being successful. You're setting yourself up for success. You're maintaining the lifestyle. You have incorporated the positive things that are in your in your life, like, let's say, buying foods that support you nutritionally, and possibly going to the gym, or looking at a video that is going to support you with your aerobic activity, or starting a walking program like I have the Wise Women Walk. So it's things like this that you want to be able to set yourself up for success, so that you are able to look back and say, I did that. I actually achieved my goal. And it may take time. It will take time, but and you have to know that and in your mind that, yes, this is going to take a minute, and I'm great with that. I know that it's going to take time. I'm going to do the work, and I'm going to move forward incrementally, and before you know it, you will have reached that goal. And so now, and which brings us into time bound and giving yourself a completion date. Can you reassess a goal if it starts to look unrealistic in the middle of it? Absolutely. Absolutely. You can as I said, if your ultimate goal is 30 pounds, is to lose 30 pounds, and you've set an unrealistic goal of wanting to lose 30 pounds in 6 weeks, and you see by week 3 you're not near that particular goal, reassess. Say yes, okay, and look for the success in what you have already accomplished so far. So maybe you've cut out snacks. Maybe you've cut out sugar from your diet. Maybe you stopped bringing unhealthy foods into your house. Those are successes. And so you look at those as successes, and then reassess what it is that you need to do in order to reach your goal. Now, it may be setting aside time, setting another timeline for yourself, and that's perfectly fine. It may be that you need to incorporate more physical activity. You may need to get more sleep. There are all kinds of things that you need to do. And the important thing that I would also like to say that I didn't mention is, during this particular time, before you even begin, get yourself a notebook and start keeping track of what it is that you're doing. Focus on journaling everything that you put in your mouth, the amount of sleep that you get, the amount of physical activity you get, what foods that you're consuming. So when you look at, if you see that you're not reaching the goal, or you're not hitting any milestones, that you have documentation that says that you can look at to see, okay, well, what am I not doing, or what happened here that I can improve on. And then, even if you see this, if you look at a situation where, or look at your life and look at your journal, and you see that you're not reaching the goal, maybe you need to seek outside help. Maybe you need to get a nutritionist. Maybe you need to get a personal trainer or a health coach, or someone else to guide you along the way to help you to reach the goal. And absolutely, if you have any health issues prior to starting this program, you want to check with your doctor to make sure that everything is fine, that your numbers are good, that that your health is not problematic, and you're not setting yourself up for bigger issues. But always any kind of movement is absolutely good, if for nothing else but your heart. So focusing on all of these areas, set a goal, making sure that it's specific, making sure that it's measurable, making sure that it's action oriented, you're taking action, making also that it's realistic, that it is also, and it's time bound. These are absolutely the fundamentals of goal setting. And I'm like, okay. So if you would like more information on this, please feel free to click the subscribe button and the notifications. And I will be back next week on my Tea Tuesday. my afternoon tea on Tuesday, and I'll have another conversation for you if you have any questions. Let's see. Okay, Ellie, love the tracking in a notebook. Actually, absolutely, because how are you going to know what's happening? How are you going to know if you don't? If how are you going to know you're successful if you're not tracking it? When you go to the doctor, what does the doctor do? They go right back and look at all of your records. They look at everything that you've been doing. They look at all of your labs. They look at everything that you've been everything that you've been going through. Your whole relationship with them ever since you've been going to the doctor. They know everything about you because they are tracking everything about you. And so why not track for yourself? These are the things that, and if you need to go to the doctor, you are more informed because you have documentation of what it is that you are doing for yourself. So if you are on some kind of medication, you can go to your doctor and you can say, listen, doctor, I have been exercising, 3 to 5 times a week. I have stopped eating sugar. I've stopped eating salt, and I've begun to incorporate more vegetables in my life. Is it possible for me to get off of said medication? So these are, but you have to have done the work, and you have to be able to share with your doctor what it is that you're doing so that the doctor can reassess what's going on with you and say, okay, well, maybe we can either lessen your dosage so that you can eventually get off of this medication. So keeping a journal, a notebook of what it is that you're doing is so very important. It's empowering for you, and it's empowering for you as you go into your doctor, and it's educational. So, and that's extremely, extremely important for you in terms of your life and your health. So thank you so very much for joining me today. This was Afternoon Tea Tuesday Tip Tuesday Tip Tea. Tea on Fit Tip Tuesday. I don't know. What should I call this, you guys? I don't know. Tuesday afternoon. I figured this would be an appropriate time because this is the time when a lot of people take breaks in the afternoon, or they start napping at their desk. And I thought, what a way to wake up somebody in the afternoon on a Tuesday. So listen, thank you so very much. I appreciate all of you for coming, and listen, it's your life. Live it well.